It is a beautiful night in Glendale, Arizona, but the roof's going to be closed tonight at the State Farm Stadium. An unexpected trip to the desert. Josh Allen and the Bills taking on Richard Sherman and the Niners in Arizona. Remember, Santa Clara, they've got that ban on contact sports, so it looks like that's going to be home to the 49ers for the next 2 games at least. Guys, we got a big show for you here on the Monday Night Tailgate. We're with you all the way up to kickoff. And my friends with us today, Jason Fitz, Dan Graziano hanging out with me. Dan Graziano literally just got off a plane from Seattle just a few hours ago. And Dan, I was thinking about it when we were waiting for you to show up in Bristol, Connecticut. Remember a few months ago when it was a viral moment, and the big question was, do you recline your seat? Yes or no? Because that really tells you a lot about who somebody is. Are you a recliner?
Oh, God, no. It's horribly rude. I also think it tells a lot about who somebody is, how they dress in seasonably warm weather in Nashville to be on television, because you seem like you're a little chilly there on the frozen tundra of Nissan Stadium. So
what you can barely see here above my shoulder are the players in shorts. Yeah, but Diana in full, she's got the jacket with it. So we decided we would
like
pay
an homage.
Yeah.
You know, we got some Nashville weather here in the studio, so we're dressed for it.
When you guys do this stuff and you don't tell me, and then I have to now sit here and just take it.
What are you going to do?
50 degrees yesterday.
50.
I thought it was going to be colder.
I mean, you've got a jacket for like 12 degrees there. I mean, well, how cold did you think it was going to be, Diana? It's Nashville.
I mean, I was in Seattle. The sun wasn't up yet. You know, it was, suit jacket on. It was all right. It was all right. We'll see.
The reality of it was I just liked that color red. That's all it had to do with.
Yeah, that's fair. No, that is fair.
I got rid of it by the end, and I looked ridiculous. And I'm glad that I'm here with you guys tonight. Once again, overdressed because it's hot in my apartment. So, guys, we got a big Monday night matchup, of course, but we also got some football going down right now as we speak. It's been a ball game, actually, between the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers and, of course, the Washington football team, where right now the Steelers are up 14-10. A lot of adjustments made at halftime by Washington. They really came out flat. The run games for both teams, guys, not really good. James Conner out in this one. And it seems like drop balls, guys, on the offense for the Steelers. As great as these young receivers are, it just seems like every week there's someone that is dropping a ball in a pretty important moment in the game. So, we'll keep you guys in tune with what's going on throughout the next few minutes. I know you've been able to catch some of this show. Any quick takeaways so far, knowing that, guys, this Washington football team, they are fighting for their share in the NFC East.
Right? I mean, the Giants go out to Seattle and win there. To keep pace, Washington's going to have to knock off the Steelers. All of a sudden, the NFC East, it's been this joke all year, but now, hey, you got to play these guys. These are teams that are fired up and think they have a chance to do something. Don't overlook this outstanding division.
Look, I'll go to the other side of this. This sort of echoes one of the reasons why I think, frankly, the Steelers are a bit under-talked about as a team undefeated this late in the season, because, to use the college football term from the eye test, the Steelers don't make most of this look easy. So while they are undefeated, and that is absolutely remarkable for the season, does anybody really think this is a dominant team the way it usually is when we see somebody undefeated this late in the season? So I think we're seeing a little bit of that in this game.
Yeah, plus Washington's defense is good. Led by ESPN alum Jack Del Rio. Yeah.
Yes. It's interesting, too, because we got these 2 football games, and then next Sunday we got the Steelers and the Bills playing each other. So we have tons of action, and we, of course, love the doubleheader that we have tonight. But we had so much great action yesterday, guys, right? So, Dan, we addressed that you were in Seattle for that Giants game. Fitz, I know you were probably working. So let's just start with our blitz here. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock, essentially, and let's just go through one thing that really stood out for you from this weekend. Dan, I'll start with you here.
I've got to go with the Giants, Diana. I mean, look, they go to Seattle and they win. Not only they win, they confuse Russell Wilson. They push Seattle around with their own run game, and they come out of there with their 4th win in a row. I covered the Giants for 3 years for ESPN.com. I don't ever remember them winning 4 games in a row the whole time I did that. So this is special what they're doing right here. And look, they're 5-7. Look, no one's picking them to be in the Super Bowl. But what you see here is a team that started the season lousy, but has built confidence under a first-year coach in Joe Judge that has them focused on the right thing. How do we get better every single day? He is telling them it's irrelevant that we're in first place with 4 games to go. 4 games is a ton of time. Just keep focused on what you're doing every week in terms of your work. They are listening, they're connecting with him, and it's paying off. They are, for better or for worse, in first place.
Yeah.
That's a good take by Dan, too, by the way. Go ahead, Dianna.
No. I want to hear what you have to say. Do you actually even think the Giants, though, are that good, Fitz?
It's not that the Giants are that good, but there is some level of, if I told you that the Giants would be sitting at 5-7 coming into the season without Saquon, right? And then I tell you that they go in and they beat Seattle without Daniel Jones. Like, I do think that we hear next man up all the time, and that's a total load of junk for most teams. The Giants are accomplishing next man up. Yeah, they're 5-7. I'm not sure they're going to get to a winning record, but of all the teams playing in the NFC least right now that actually are playing like they care, I think the Giants are bringing a consistent level of effort.
And if you're a Giants fan right now, you have reason to feel good, like excited about the future. Whatever happens this year, but what's happening this year makes you feel good about what's to come.
Great point.
All right, Fitz, I want to go to you, but before I go to you, I want to play some sound from this morning. This is Rex Ryan on Get Up giving his thought on that Jets-Raiders game yesterday.
Dumbest call I've ever seen, and been around the thing for 58 years, 30 years as a coach. That's the dumbest call ever. There's no other way of putting it. Look. And it's not like cover zero. There's a time and a place for cover zero. That thing sure ain't it. It's just stupid.
All right, so we know now Greg Williams has been fired. It went down earlier this morning, and there are a lot of conspiracies out there, Fitz. Which one are you going with in terms of why Greg Williams did this?
Load my 60 seconds up here, Dianna, and let's just go straight for conspiracy theorists. Look. Greg Williams did not do this to help the Jets lose a football game. Couple things. Number one, as Dianna just said, I don't know, he doesn't have a job anymore. So I'd say it didn't work if that was the case. Number two, his head coach had the opportunity to stop this play, but was apparently doing something else. Number three, Dan Orlovsky has pointed out on film, on Twitter, multiple times, the other instances just like this where Greg Williams has made comparable calls in comparable situations. Number four, if he was going to throw the game, why wouldn't he done it on the drive before? It would have made way more sense. If you were going to throw the game, then you don't call a good defense on 4th and goal. That's the opportunity the Raiders couldn't take advantage of to get where they were. Guess what? Bad teams are bad because bad players and bad coaching. That's what the Jets have. They don't have a conspiracy theory. They just stink. And my Raiders were the benefit of a team that stinks. It's that simple.
It is. No, the coaches and players aren't out there losing on purpose.
Yeah.
Like they're not. Greg Williams and Adam Gase, no, they're not going to coach Trevor Lawrence. No, it doesn't matter to them whether they're 2-14 or 0-16. Like they're not trying to lose the game. But brutal call. Rex is right.
I know that it really makes no sense when you break it down that way. I think it's just the instant reaction is was such a dumb decision by him that there had to be a purpose, right? No one wants to actually be able to. No one wants to admit or at least say that was really dumb,
right.
And that's the reason. There had to be some motivation. But how nervous were you though? Because I was out in Nashville. The game was wrapping up, and I was looking on my phone while watching that game, going, oh my God, the Jets are going to do this. They're going to win their first game of the year. The Raiders always struggle on this trip out east. Fitz, how nervous were you?
Okay, so, I'll admit my language is not family friendly during the game. And so it usually ends with a lot of F-bombs, but it's the tone of those F-bombs that really decide how things are going. So realistically for me, that went from very angry when Derek Carr, by the way, on the play before misses a wide open Aguilar that would have won the game. I used the F-bombs then the wrong way, and then on the last play, a lot of jumping up and down. I'm telling you, I owe the entire city of New Britain, Connecticut an apology for what they learned about me in that game. I'm not proud of it. All right, Dianna, we've gotten our hot takes off. You get 60 seconds. We're going to load you up. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to do it hard, like hard hitting New Britain like you were yesterday. Woo! And, you talk about going crazy. I would have loved to be sitting in the living room of a Cleveland Browns fan yesterday, especially during that first half where it looked like They came so prepared. They knew that this Tennessee Titans team was going to test Baker Mayfield. They were going to make him throw the ball. And instead of just forcing the run, because we know that Kevin Stefanski's offense has been really successful in the run game, they adjusted. And this is what I think is making them such a good team, is while their identity and their strength is the run game, Baker Mayfield proved yesterday that they can throw and they can win. We know how good this defense can be. Their pass rush, we saw Myles Garrett returning after missing those 2 games from COVID-19 where it really kicked his butt. And then I come out there and Tennessee had no answer. This is a team that just beat the Ravens, that just spanked the Colts. And yesterday, the Browns the version of the Browns we saw yesterday looked like a team that isn't only making the playoffs, a team that is going to go deep in the playoffs. So the Browns, they're here to stay.
I like Stefanski because the Browns don't bring in Stefanski because they like his offensive scheme, right? They bring him in because he's a coach, and he's worked in a lot of offensive schemes, and he has the ability to identify, here's how they're going to come after us, so here's what we can do. They're going to expect us to run. I kept thinking about movies yesterday. You remember Get Shorty? You ever see Get Shorty with John Travolta? There's that scene on the restaurant stairs where Delroy Lindo's character looks at him and goes, "You don't know me. You only think you do." That's Stefanski yesterday. He said, you think I'm going to run the ball? I'm not going to run the ball. You have no pass rush. You're not going to be able to cover my guys. We're throwing it, and you're going to be out of the game by halftime. Good coaching. He's a step ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, that certainly was. So this year's been so weird that to think that the Browns are actually really good. Because, Dan, you and I have been on NFL Live together a million times, and we always have that conversation in the preseason that this is the year, and finally, it seems like this is the right mix. Stefanski has really galvanized this team with all this talent. They've got so much talent. They should be good. All right, let's move along to our Tweet It or Delete It segment, where essentially we pick a few tweets out there that we've come across over the last few hours or so, and try to figure out whether or not we would give it a retweet or we would just delete that thing and move on past it. So let's start with, well, let's actually stick with the Titans theme, right? The Titans defense will prevent them from winning a playoff game was a tweet we saw out there. Dan, you tweeting that or are you deleting that?
I think after yesterday I have to tweet it because, again, where's the pass rush? If you can give Baker Mayfield all day to sit back there and throw the ball, what are you going to do when it's Ben Roethlisberger or Patrick Mahomes back there in a playoff game? I mean, Tennessee's got to figure this out. Now, Clowney's done for the year. You know, they weren't exactly dominating up front with that pass rush with him there, so they've got to figure some things out because, you know, Dianna, I mean, when you get to the playoffs, you've got to be able to control the game in the key moments, and you do that by running the ball, and you do that by rushing the passer. Right now, Tennessee's only got one of those.
The only thing that they have going for them is they're really good at turnovers, and they depend on that. And when they give that effort that we see, that's when they play well. But that effort just was not there. They were outmatched by a mile. All right, let's talk Vikings. Justin Jefferson is the best rookie wide receiver in a very loaded receiver class. Is he the best, Fitz?
This one's tough, but I think I'm going to tweet it. And, you know, I went back and forth because, again, limited offseason, limited opportunity to see some of these guys shine, and Claypool has been an absolute delight for the Steelers. So it really comes down to those guys. I wonder if we're getting a real sense also of CeeDee Lamb. Like, how can we judge CeeDee Lamb when he's had no consistency at the quarterback position? But you look at those numbers. T. Higgins also somebody that I was really hot on coming out. But you look at those numbers across the board. The one thing about Higgins is he's in an offense that's willing to throw the ball 700 times a game when they had their starting quarterback. So I think that skews his production a little bit. CD's production is skewed a little bit. I got to look at Justin Jefferson. Even though he's in a really good system by having Dalvin Cook, has been, for the most part, special this year. I will say that he's the best, but I'm still holding out judgment. By the way, it's rare that a draft class actually delivers. The wide receiver draft class this year has delivered top to bottom.
Top to bottom, all the way through. I mean, Denzel Mims looks like he's going to be a player for the Jets of all teams. Like, if they get their stuff together. I mean, the list goes on and on, but Jefferson's having the best year for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, we saw yesterday the Eagles in Green Bay bench Carson Wentz. We finally got to see Jalen Hurts come out there and actually play the quarterback position without Carson Wentz out on the field. So we saw a tweet that said Jalen Hurts is the future quarterback of this Philadelphia Eagles team. Dan, are you tweeting that or are you deleting that one?
I'm not ready to tweet that yet, Diana. I think we need to see more. Look, what's going on in Philadelphia this year is absolutely bewildering. We have no idea what happened to Carson Wentz. I mean, you would have thought a couple of months ago that he was the future of the Eagles at quarterback, and now we're wondering this about Jalen Hurts. We've got to see him more. Obviously, the young man has talent. He has the ability to overcome things. We've seen him in his college career bounce back from things, and there's reason to hope and to think that he has the ability to be a good NFL quarterback. Surely the Eagles did, or they would not have drafted him in the second round. But in terms of is he their answer in 2021 and going forward, I think we need to see a lot in December before we can start making those kinds of conclusions.
Fitz, you there? You're tweeting and deleting.
No, I'm all in with that. Like, for me, I'm deleting that. I'm all in with what Dan is saying. There's too much money at stake for Carson Wentz to not be the starting quarterback next year. Man, the dead cap numbers are astounding. The Eagles are still going to be stuck with Carson Wentz next year. They need to figure out how to get it right. By the way, blame has to go to everybody. Doug Peterson hasn't done a good enough job getting Wentz comfortable. Wentz hasn't played well enough. And Roseman deserves a bunch of blame for signing that massive deal that's got them tied right now. So I think all three of them, like the holy trinity of blame for them.
Yeah, guys, so much football talk on a tailgate show. I'm loving this, but can we have a little bit of fun? Fitz, can you take us through some picture this?
All right, let's get to some picture this. This is where we take some of the best images from social media, and we get out there to get a little reaction. And we'll start with, Dan, you covered the Giants for several years. Eli Manning eating a sandwich. Only Eli can make eating a sandwich look awkward.
Awkward, right? Like he's like he got caught eating a sandwich. Like, I'm not supposed to be eating this sandwich, but you got me. But I'm going to go ahead and continue eating the sandwich because it's delicious. And I'm Eli Manning, and I don't care what you think. That's what we're getting out of this picture.
And if anyone has seen the pictures of Peyton of late, it looks like he no longer eats any carbs as he is now shredded, rocked, and loaded. I'm just saying. Retirement's been good to him. All right, next up on the picture front, we got T.Y. Hilton consoling Deshaun Watson after the game. And, as much as we talk about rivalry and all of this, Diana, you look at moments like this and it reminds you how human and how real the relationships are between some players, no matter what their teams are.
Ugh, I hated this. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was really nice. I did think initially, I was like, oh, wow, it must be really bad for T.Y. Hilton to walk over and do the consoling here. But, yeah, no, there's a brotherhood. There's an understanding. I'm always faced with the reality of what football really is to these guys in the post game. No matter how close the game is, no matter what happens, you always see them talking afterwards and taking pictures together and swapping jerseys. And it's good perspective that it really is just a game.
I also wonder if T.Y. is saying, like, hey, could you put in a good word for me with whoever the new GM is? Because I know there's receiver issues here. I'm not having the best year in Indy. My contract, I wonder if he's doing a little like, hey, man, wouldn't it be cool to play together?
Or he might also be saying, get your butt traded. Somehow come over to join me in Indy. I love the conspiracy theories. All right, let's take a look at the next one because I'm in for a little bit of petty. This is an image on the Atlanta Falcons Twitter feed less than an hour until kickoff. And notice that it says Falcons, but where it should say Saints, it simply says visitor. Now, that in and of itself is a statement, but that's not the only statement because after the game, the Saints went to Twitter as well to show the final score, and instead of saying visitor, it now says winner. Dan, you in for this?
And 28-3?
Oh,
like in the middle? Like that's not even that's the worst thing you can say to the Falcons is 28-3, right? But it wasn't even the Saints that did that. But 28-3 was that not the Super Bowl score against the Patriots?
Oh yeah, I mean
and that never gets old. I never get sick of that joke. And it's just so good. Hey, shout out to the Saints Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice work, guys.
Yeah, it never gets old for somebody. Obviously, none of us are Falcons fans in the room. I can hear their heads exploding. All right, got a sentimental moment here. Devontae Adams presenting Aaron Rodgers with the football from his 400th touchdown pass. So, I mean, this one, I like this, Dan, right? A little bit of love.
Thank you for all that you've done for me. All of my children and grandchildren will go to whatever colleges they want because of you, Aaron Rodgers, and your 400 touchdowns. Thanks for throwing 390 of those to me, by the way. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, what a pair.
As pretty as that was, the next picture, not so pretty. This is from tonight.
Oh, no.
Look at Alex Smith's leg. Field tweeting this. Diana, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but, I mean, given what we all know, it just grosses me out.
It doesn't gross me out. It concerns me. Of all people, I don't want to see any blood, injury, anything on anything Alex Smith for the rest of my life. We've all seen enough of Alex Smith's injuries, unfortunately.
What happened there anyway? Take a cleat to the leg or something?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it must have been that, but I'm sure they cleaned that up. But yeah, football players, they're tough guys. I think that's the moral here. I
mean, I get a paper cut and I missed the digital show. Okay, so next up we got a little bit of Photoshop action here. Dan, everybody was ready for this. I mean, Shefty tweeting out Jets are beating Raiders at the time, potentially losing Trevor Lawrence. But I love the fact that everybody is prepped with the golden locks under the helmet of all of these teams in the top 5.
Well, yeah, at this point it's narrowed down to the number of pictures you need, right? If you got Jets or Jaguars, you got a pretty good chance of getting it right. But yeah, Shefty, man, jumping the gun. Shefty's, you make sure and get his final confirmation before he tweets something like that out, right? You got to wait for the Jet game to end.
I did the same thing. Dan, yesterday, because on Get Up, I had predicted that the Jets were going to get their first win. So I reposted the video to be like, look at me, I'm so smart, because I'm never right about these things ever, except for on the show when I make predictions. Before it ended, who does that? But I didn't, I'll never learn, Dan. I'll never learn. I can't read a weather map, and apparently I know nothing about football. That being said, thanks. There are fans out there who know a lot more about football sometimes than I think all of us combined. So let's go through the fan base and go through sort of like a superlatives of what type of fan bases are out there. And we're going to rank all of them.
All right, it's time to have some touchscreen fun. We get to go through some fan bases. Now, we all know that I would put the Raiders in at the top of all of the good lists and none of the bad ones. So instead of doing that, they're going to let me sort of drive everybody else through this. We're going to pick the superlative, pick the fan base, and we'll start with Dianna gets to pick first, all right? So we're going with angriest fan base. So, Dianna, what fan base do you have out there that you think is just always a little bit angry for some reason?
Yeah, I feel like every fan base is guilty of this at some point, right? But there's a separate little space for the Tennessee Titans fans out there on social media specifically. And here's the thing, it doesn't really match up with Nashville, right? Because you think Nashville, everyone is so nice there. The music is awesome. The vibe is just fun. But for some reason, the fans, I admire the passion, I do. But the anger, they're still angry Marcus Mariota isn't the starting quarterback. It's been obvious that Ryan Tannehill has been the answer. They should have moved on from Marcus probably a lot sooner. So I've had this very up-close experience with them. I respect it, but they're just very angry, Fitz.
All right, so, and by the way, after a lot of years in Nashville, I'm not going to fight that. They feel very disrespected all the time. I don't know. All right, Dan, get in on the fun. Oh, you got...
I just wonder if she'd ever encountered that guy from the video in the parking lot. Because I don't know, was he angry at the beer can?
I think so, yeah.
It looked like he was angry at the beer can.
I mean, who wouldn't be when you got to poke a bunch of holes in it to get the beer out? Like, it's...
That beer can did not draft Marcus Mariota. I mean, that's not, like, you got to be able to put two and two together and focus your anger.
We're gonna focus now on who you think most entitled fan base.
Oh, come on.
I know. It's your Menchie's, not mine.
It's the Patriots.
Oh, there we go.
All right, first of all, like, who can blame them, right? I mean, like, they've been in the Super Bowl 9 times in the last 2 decades. They've won 6 of them. I mean, come on. Obviously, they're the most entitled. Again, I don't blame them. But yeah, I don't know. Are they? If you're a Patriots fan right now, are you upset at the way it's going, or do you feel like
no? The Patriots fans that I know are still like, oh yeah, no, we're fine. Everything's gonna be good. Like, we're gonna make it into the playoffs, and then you never know where it's gonna go. All right, Dianna, you get to go next. We're gonna look at the most loyal fan base, the fan base that's absolutely just built-in loyalty. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers on this one. I think. You know, when you spend time at Lambeau, you just get the feeling that this is all they live for. And we know they probably live for more things, but I've always just been really impressed how they've been able to just always make it fun and live and die by the Packers.
All right, so Dan, let's go to most pleasant. This is a good award. The fan base that just, gives you all the good feels.
I got to really, really hunt for one here. I don't know that I've encountered too many pleasant fan bases.
Oh, Diana's hot on one that's all right. Dianna, who you got for most pleasant?
The New Orleans Saints fans, they're the nicest
Diana.
people. They're always happy. They always just want to party. When do you ever really see them going crazy because they're mad about something? The angriest
Every
person
January
that is
when they
related
get
to
knocked
the
out of the
Saints,
playoffs by some crazy thing. That's when. Every single year. They're like the most put upon
that's
fan base.
heartbreak. That's heartbreak. They're still so pleasant. I just find them always to be happy. And look, when you have success, you tend to be a little nicer. But we've seen other fan bases that are really good. Their teams are awesome, and they're just not. It's just never enough. The Saints, you know, their personality matches perfect with their fan base.
All right, so let's go to most delusional. Dan, you got a fan base that's always just a little delusional.
Little delusional. Let me say, well, we're the Cowboys, right? I mean, the
Oh,
Cowboys
there we
are
go.
kind of still living in the sort
That's
of America's team past. And they got fans everywhere. That's the other thing, right? Like maybe the hardcore, like Texas-based Cowboy fan knows what's going on, but nationally, they're a team that has a lot of fans, and I just don't think they've made their peace with sort of how mediocre it's been for them.
Right division, but Diana, you got a different team on this one, right?
Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles fans. They are delusional. They're delusional because they just want to continue to live in the past. They still, you know, feel like the Super Bowl was last year. And I just feel like even when things are good, it's just never enough. And, you know, we're seeing it right now with the quarterback situation. I actually think they're finally starting to realize that Carson may not be the answer. But at the same time, this is a fan base that is always willing to sort of just push it right to that line. It's just too much. They're insane.
Well,
all right, go ahead. So now we'll get to the last category, and this one,
insane.
I mean,
They're the most insane, for sure.
Oh, good. All right, rowdiest. Dan, who you got for the rowdiest? I think in honor of tonight's game, we may know who the rowdiest
Well, I
is.
think we got to go with the table-smashing Buffalo Bills Mafia, right? Don't we have to go with that? This is what they're famous for, is their rowdiness. And I think, yeah, we probably have some. This is not rowdy. They're just kind of looking forlornly at the stadium they can't go into anymore. There we go. That's my guy. Now there's fire. You know, we got him jumping through tables. I think Buffalo Bills, they're the rowdiest. They got to do it to keep warm.
Yeah, well, I'm the one with the touch screen, so I'm just saying it should have been most pleasant, obviously Raiders,
Obviously.
most loyal, obviously Raiders, most delusional would usually be Raiders too. But in honor of tonight and Monday Night Football, I guess we can give it to the Bills. And speaking of which, let's get a little bit of Monday Night Preview going right now.
Yeah, guys, we know that Bills Mafia can be just an absolute wild bunch. We've seen the photos, we've seen the videos, but they're also really generous. They've donated over $275,000, basically in increments of $17 each. That's, of course, Josh Allen's jersey number. And they took all that money and they donated to a children's hospital where Josh Allen's grandmother had passed away unexpectedly last month. And then you guys remember last year when they donated $400,000 to Andy Dalton's foundation after he beat the Ravens in Week 17 to knock Baltimore out of the playoffs and give Buffalo their first berth in 17 years. So that was back in 2017. So that was wild. They have big hearts. And, you know, it's funny. I think we always talk about how crazy of a group they are, but their craziness is just they want to win. They want to know what that feels like, and they have big hearts. So credit to them, and definitely a hat tip to them for being able to donate that much money, all for their quarterback's grandmother in the hospital that took care of her. So, guys, we have a big game tonight, right? So we know it's sort of a home away from home game here for the San Francisco 49ers. The Bills returning back to the same stadium where DeAndre Hopkins had that just magnificent, perhaps catch of the year dagger late in the game. And we'll see, of course, they're playing a different team tonight, but we'll see what the Bills will be able to bring tonight as they travel cross country. So, guys, let's get into this real quick as we're getting ready to a few minutes away to kick off here. So let's just start talking with the AFC East here and the Bills. The most consistent thing about them, Dan, for you, what have you seen most from them that's made them successful?
I just think you're looking at a situation in Buffalo where you have the word culture gets thrown around, right? But I mean, since Sean McDermott has gotten there, they've worked to build something, and they have a foundation. So I think the most consistent thing about the Bills is what they bring each and every week in terms of their level of confidence, their level of preparedness. We've seen them throw it all over the yard and win. We've seen them run the ball and win. We've seen them win with defense. I think they're a very complete team. I think whether you believe in the Bills or not right now comes down to whether you believe in their quarterback. And we've seen the great and we've seen the not so great from Josh Allen. I think that'll continue maybe throughout his career. But around him, there's a group that can win, and I think they're feeling like winners in Buffalo these days.
But, Dan, I think that's one of the most interesting things about Josh Allen. Like, I don't know that there are a lot of players that had more pressure coming into this year than Josh Allen, because Bills fans have been very protective of sort of the mindset that Josh Allen isn't good enough. Well, this year, they went out and got so many weapons for him. They put so much around him. I feel like not only did the media have a lot of eyes on him, but Bills fans that have been insulating him a little bit and protecting him now are saying, okay, this is your moment. Prove it. Show us what you got. You're right. There have been a couple of moments that I think are a little bit forgettable over the course of the season, but realistically, Josh Allen has looked like a star. So I feel like if you're Josh Allen, you got to be really excited if you're the Bills, you got to be really excited for where you are. Dianna, conversely, let's talk a little bit on the 49ers side from your point of view. I mean, the 49ers, obviously, they're still in the wild card race.
How? I feel like it was just a day ago. They were at MetLife Stadium and they were going down like flies. Jimmy Garoppolo getting hurt, George Kittle. They had just a slew of injuries back then, and it just seems that they can't piece together a roster that can stay healthy. And the fact that they are still in this, this is always going to go back to kind of what Dan mentioned on the Buffalo side. You can easily apply it to the Niners side, which is their coaching, what they've been able to do. The fact that they have these guys fighting still knowing that, the chances are probably pretty small. Maybe they can make a run with Nick Mullins getting his 6th start tonight. And it certainly could give them a boost beating this Buffalo Bills team, which, Fitz, did you realize this? The Bills have never won on Monday Night Football. They're the only team in the NFL that have never won on Monday Night Football. So, I mean, not that really means anything, but always just a little added insult to injury there for Buffalo.
I think we have it here that they haven't won since '99. I don't know pre-'99, but they haven't won this century on Monday Night Football.
This century.
Yeah, they haven't won this century.
I wasn't even alive in '99.
But that's But part of the hard part about that is how many Monday Night Football games you get when you're bad, right? So the Bills have gone through years of being sort of irrelevant. Like, this is why this is such a big moment for Buffalo to come out and capture the moment. I think not only do they have the opportunity to win tonight, but they have the opportunity to really force a narrative around Buffalo that we haven't seen in a long time. They should win the division. They're the best team. I think they show a lot of people that.
Miami's right there behind them. I mean, there's a little bit of pressure on them to win this game tonight because they are in a tight division race. So, yeah, it's exciting. But to the point on the 49ers, Dianna, they believe that they have as good a roster depth situation as anyone in the league, and their coaches tell them that, right? When they were dropping like flies earlier in the season, Kyle Shanahan he put up a list in a team meeting, said, these are all the guys we lost last year, and we made it to the Super Bowl. So they trade on that in that 49er coaching staff, and they're getting a little healthier. I mean, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the field together. We haven't seen that very much. The offense might have a little something.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, let's do it. Game picks. So, Dan, I know we haven't had you on the show in a couple weeks here, so I've gone undefeated in this. So here we are on week 13. I'm sweating again like I was in Nashville to just be this good at this. So I'm actually going to go with the Buffalo Bills, who have not won in this century. I think they're going to be able to do it tonight. I think they've got this momentum. They have it going, and they're going to have the advantage of that health on their side with their key players. So I'm going Buffalo Bills tonight against the Niners.
I'm also going to go Bills, mostly because Dianna, although it hasn't been fact-checked, claims every week to be undefeated, so why not match the brilliance and the remarkable Dianna Russini? So I'm going Bills also. Who you got?
It wouldn't be hard to check that, right? I mean, we could probably...
We choose not to.
Definitely have somebody go back and find that. I took the 49ers.
Let me win something.
I think... They're at home. They're not at home, but no one is in this game. But no, I think the 49ers are putting something together where it's got that what's left over from last year, that sort of, I know they didn't win the championship, they got to the Super Bowl, that mentality of a team that knows how to win at this time of year. I think we're going to see a little flare-up of that from the 49ers. They might make a run yet.
Yeah. All right, we got a big one. Bills facing the 49ers in Arizona in the desert tonight. A little different, but isn't everything different in 2020, guys? We will see you next week on Monday Night Tailgate. We got the Browns and the Ravens. Guys, enjoy the show over on ESPN Monday Night Football.